Good afternoon, Cleveland and Columbus sports fans. This is Jenn B, and you're tuned in to the show of the land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Today, we are going to talk about the red hot Cleveland Cavaliers on a 9-game winning streak and going for win number 50 this afternoon. We will talk about how the Charge fared this past week. We'll get into some college hoops and some tournaments taking place over the last week and the coming weeks. Then we will get into some baseball, see how the guards are doing during spring games. We will talk a little college baseball and softball. Then we'll get into hockey with the Blue Jackets, the Monsters, the John Carroll Blue Streaks, the OU Bobcats, Ohio State Buckeyes, and Bowling Green Falcons. Then we'll talk some volleyball with the Columbus Fury. We will then talk a little bit of Browns news. We will talk about the Crew and the Crunch as their seasons continue in the soccer universe. So stay right here with me, Jenn B, and the show of the land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And we will get into all of that right after these messages from our sponsor.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back to the Show of the Land with Jenn B on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Be sure to also check out our newest sponsor, Raw Nutrition Supplements. You can go to getrawnutrition.com and use promo code IESR to get 10% off your orders. You can catch me on the socials right here. And if you enjoy the show and would like to support us, you can check out the Supporters Club. Let's get into the sports of it all. The Cleveland Cavaliers, currently 49-10 on a 9-game win streak. This afternoon, in just about 3.5 hours, they will be going for win number 50, a win total that they did not hit last season. So quite an impressive season so far. This past week, they did finally sign Javonte Green, and he has been added to the roster. He is wearing number 8. He did get a little bit of playtime over the past week, not a whole lot. So maybe we'll see him more this week as he gets more acquainted with the team. So this week in review, last Sunday, the Cavs played the Memphis Grizzlies. They came out on top, 129-123. It was a hard-fought game. The entire game, it was very close. Almost the entire game. I don't think there was a lead more than 6 points either way. The entire game, it was a nail biter. Darius Garland was out with a hip contusion. Donovan Mitchell led the way with 33 points, and Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen both recorded double-doubles. Evan Mobley had 25 points and 13 rebounds, and Jarrett Allen had 13 points and 10 rebounds. Tuesday, they played the Orlando Magic. Darius Garland was out once again, and the Cavs just ran away with this one. They won 122-82, and Ty Jerome led with 20 points. I believe this was the game that Javonte Green got a little bit of playtime because the entire bench played in this one, and they still won by 40. Then Friday, in the biggest game of the season so far. The Cavs took on the Boston Celtics in Boston. Whew. Boy, was this a doozy. The Cavs were down 25-3 in the first quarter. I was out with my best friend on Friday, so I was at a bar. We were seeing a cover band, a Metallica cover band, and they only had the Cavs game on one TV, and it was behind me. So I had to keep turning around to check the score. But when I turned around and saw it was 25-3, I was like, well, this one's over. And I didn't look back again for a while. And then the next time I looked back, the Cavs were within 10. And then I got a notification on my phone that it was halftime and the Cavs were within 10. I was like, "Oh, I guess I better start paying attention a little bit more." Shout out to the chat room before we get too far into this Boston game. Marcus Losgreat, host of Gloves Off, our combat sports show. Daryl Kinsey, my co-host on the Extra Mile for all of your racing sports needs. And shout out to Brian. And he says, "You're welcome for our injuries." Brian is the host of our new Boston show, the Beantown Sports Pound. You can check him out on Wednesdays. The Extra Mile is on Mondays. We will be on tomorrow night. And Gloves Off is on Friday nights. So be sure to check out those shows. Like I said, I was at the bar watching the band, so I wasn't paying too close attention to the game, but man, the Cavs pulled it off. They ended up winning 123-116. Evan Mobley hit a clutch three with about 8.5 minutes left in the game to give the Cavs their first lead of the night, and they never looked back. Donovan Mitchell put the team on his back and led with 41 points. Evan Mobley had a double-double with 17 points and 12 rebounds, most of which came in the fourth quarter. He was not playing well prior to the fourth quarter, but he powered through and came through when it was necessary. This was a great game, and I kind of feel bad for the band that was playing because when that clock hit 0:00, the entire bar erupted in cheers while the band was in the middle of playing a song. But it it was a great comeback win for the Cavs. I believe I saw it was their second largest comeback in franchise history against Boston. So quite quite the game, and people were were doubting the Cavs. They've been doubting the Cavs, and that sentiment is starting to turn a little. So watch out because here we come. Next up for the Cleveland Cavaliers. This afternoon, they will be playing the Portland Trail Blazers, going for win number 50 on March 2nd. Win number 50 on March 2nd. Never thought those words would come out of my mouth, but here we are. Donovan Mitchell will not be playing in the game this afternoon. He is on veteran rest. He did play a significant number of minutes in that Boston game and obviously scored a bunch of points. And then Tuesday, they will play the Chicago Bulls. Wednesday, Miami Heat. And Friday, the Charlotte Hornets. So hopefully after this afternoon, we'll be celebrating win number 5-0 for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now for that other basketball team, the Cleveland Charge. They are not faring as well as we have talked about previously. Sunday, they played the Birmingham Squadron and lost 106-95. Imoni Bates led with 21 points and had a double-double with 10 rebounds. This past week, the Charge attained the rights for forward Warith Alashi. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but that's how it looks. So that's what we're going to go with. For the rights of Zaire Smith from the Texas Legends, Alashi is a 6'7" out of Oregon. So we shall see where that goes. Zaire Smith has not been very productive for the Charge this year, so not an overly surprising move there. Tuesday, the Charge played Grand Rapids Gold, and they won 117-103. Solid win there. Imoni Bates led with 23 points. Farron Hunt had a double-double with 17 points and 12 rebounds. Friday, they again played Grand Rapids Gold. This time, they took it to overtime, but fell short, losing 123-115. Elijah Hugh led the team with 26 points, and Luke Travers had a double-double with 15 points and 14 rebounds. Next up for the Cleveland Charge, they will be playing Osceola Magic on Wednesday, and then Friday and Saturday they have a back-to-back against the Maine Celtics. So we'll see how the Charge fare against the Celtics. My guess, probably not well, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. Now for some college hoops. The NCAC tournaments for both men's and women's basketball took place this past week, finishing up last night. So let's talk about that a little bit. The tournament includes multiple teams from the region. For the men's side, Denison won the regular season, were the regular season champions, finishing the season at 22-3 overall, 14-2 in conference. The tournament started on Tuesday. Game 1 was DePaul against Ohio Wesleyan. Ohio Wesleyan won 74-71. Game 2, Oberlin at Worcester, which are both teams in our area. And Worcester won that one 97-80. So they both moved on to the second round on Thursday. Worcester then played Wabash and won 73-57. Ohio Wesleyan faced number 1 Denison and fell short 74-70. Last night was the championship game, Worcester at Denison, and Denison came out on top 79-68. So Denison retains that championship title, and they are also the NCAC tournament champion. The women's tournament took place the same days. Game 1 on Tuesday was Wittenberg at Oberlin. Wittenberg finished the season 16-9 overall, 8-6 in conference, and Oberlin finished 14-11 overall, 8-6 in conference. Wittenberg won the game 60-42 and moved on to the next round. Game 2 on Tuesday was Hiram at Denison. Hiram finished the season 11-14 overall, so not great, and 4-10 in conference, also not great. Denison finished the season 15-10 overall, 8-6 in conference. But Hiram won 61-56. Moving on to this next round. So in round 2 on Thursday, Wittenberg took on Ohio Wesleyan, who we spoke about last week. They were the regular season champs. 23-2 overall, 14-0 in conference. Remember that 14-0. It's going to come back to bite them. So Wittenberg played Ohio Wesleyan, and Wittenberg came out on top 56-54. Sometimes you want to get that loss under your belt before it really matters. Game 2 Thursday was DePaul at Hiram, and DePaul came out on top. Wittenberg then faced DePaul for the championship and sadly fell just short, losing 46-44. Now for the GMAC, just one little bit of news for the GMAC. Ashland women's basketball clinched the Great Midwest regular season best record at 25-3, 17-1 in conference. When I wrote this note, they still had 2 games left to play. So the record might be better than that or worse than that when the season comes to its conclusion, but they are far enough ahead of the rest of the pack that they have clinched the best record in the regular season championship there. So congratulations to the Lady Eagles there. Got some Big Ten basketball news, of course. There's always something with the Buckeyes. Ohio State women's basketball's Jeloni Cambridge was named Big Ten Freshman of the Week for the second week in a row and third time this season. Chance Gray was also named the Burger King Player of the Week for Ohio State women's basketball. So congratulations to Jelani and Chance. What do we have next? Next up for the college hoops, the OAC. Oh, I forgot. I left off one. I left off the MAC. Let's hit the MAC before we hit the OAC. So for the MAC conference, Kent State men's and women's basketball have both clinched berths to the MAC tournament. Jenna Botch of Kent State women's basketball surpassed 1,000 career points this past week. Bowling Green men's basketball's Javante Campbell broke the single season record for steals with 83 and counting. Bowling Green women's basketball clinched a berth to the MAC tournament, and Akron men's basketball clinched the MAC regular season championship. Let me make sure that's all the MAC. That is all the MAC. So the MAC tournament will be getting underway in 2 weeks. I believe it starts on March 13th. And that will actually be held in Cleveland. So looking forward to that getting going. But they're not quite finished with their seasons yet, so the bracket is not yet out. So now we will move on to the OAC and talk about the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets. There's other teams too, but we will talk about the Yellow Jackets here for a bit. The Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets women's basketball team head coach Sherry Herrer was named OAC Coach of the Year. The team is currently ranked number 7 in D3 rankings, and they won the OAC tournament championship over ONU. John Carroll, men's basketball, won the OAC tournament championship over Mount Union on the men's side of things, beating Mount Union 82 to 69. Horizon League. Now, for this, we have just 2 teams who made the tournament so far. Or no, the field is set. So, Horizon League men's basketball tournament field is set. Cleveland State is the number 2 seed. They will play Thursday at home. Opponent yet to be determined. And Youngstown State Penguins are the number 4 seed, and they will play the number 5 seed Purdue Fort Wayne on Thursday. So we will get more into the Horizon League tournament next week, of course. And then the following week, we will have the MAC tournament with Akron, Bowling Green, and Kent State all taking part in that. And then we'll see what happens with the Big Ten tournament. I doubt we will see the men's basketball team in that, but likely to see the women's. So now let's move on to some baseball. The Guardians spring not going all that well. But, it is what it is. It's spring training. Sunday, last week, the Guardians played the Anaheim Angels with a starting lineup of left field Stephen Kwan, right field Will Brennan, center field Tyler Freeman, first base Kyle Manzardo, DH Bo Naylor, shortstop Daniel Schneeman, second base Juan Brito, catcher Dom Nunez, third base Will Wilson, and starting pitcher Ben Lively. The Guardians did win this one in resounding fashion, 14-2. But it's all downhill from there. This past week, principal owner of the Guardians, Larry Dolan, passed away at age 94. He bought the team in 2000. So, RIP to Larry Dolan. And a number of teams issued their condolences throughout the week when that news broke. He is the longest tenured owner in Cleveland. So that to me is a little bit crazy, but it is the truth. So prayers are with his family and all those who loved him, and may he rest in everlasting peace. Monday, the Guardians played the Arizona Diamondbacks and lost 3-4. Starting lineup, second base, Angel Martinez, shortstop, Brian Rocchio, third base, Gabriel Arias, right field, Jhonkensy Noel, catcher, Austin Hedges, DH, Kyle Manzardo, left field, Jonathan Rodriguez, center field, Petey Halpin, first base, Micah Priest, and starting pitcher, Joey Cantillo. I will say, I have not yet figured out the formula for how they're picking these starting lineups, but it is interesting. And I will also say Joey Cantillo not looking great. He has not been doing well in the games he has started. So we'll see how that progresses, but he may be finding himself back in Columbus again this season. Tuesday, the Guardians played the Milwaukee Brewers, losing 9-6. Starting lineup: left field, Stephen Kwan; first base, Carlos Santana; third base, Jose Ramirez; center field, Lane Thomas; catcher, Bo Naylor; second base, Tyler Freeman; right field, Will Brennan; shortstop, Daniel Schneemann; DH, Juan Brito; and starting pitcher, Luis Ortiz. That has been the closest to what I expect the opening day lineup to be out of all of the lineups thus far in spring training. Of course, probably a couple of tweaks there, but especially DH and shortstop. But other than that, probably pretty close to what the opening day lineup will look like, with the exception of Luis Ortiz at starting pitcher, of course, because I'm sure Tanner Bybee will start opening day. Wednesday, the Guardians faced the Texas Rangers, losing again, 7-4. Starting lineup: shortstop, Brian Rocchio; center field, Lane Thomas; third base, Jose Ramirez; DH, Carlos Santana; first base, Kyle Manzardo; second base, Gabriel Arias; right field, Kenzie Noel; catcher, Austin Hedges; left field, Angel Martinez; and starting pitcher, Gavin Williams. Gavin Williams did pitch 2 perfect innings, so that is positive news because he was struggling last season when he came back from injury, but it seems that he is back to form. So that is fantastic news, and hopefully that continues. Thursday, the Guardians played the Chicago White Sox, losing 4-2. Starting lineup: left field, Stephen Kwan; shortstop, Tyler Freeman; center field, Daniel Schneemann; first base, Kyle Manzardo; right field, Will Brennan; DH, Gabriel Arias; second base, Juan Brito; catcher, Dom Nunez; third base, Will Wilson; and starting pitcher, Logan Allen. From what I understand, Logan Allen pitched fairly well, so we'll see. He also was on the struggle bus last season and actually got relegated to Columbus. So hopefully he can get back to his rookie season form and help out this pitching rotation. Friday, they played the Colorado Rockies and they won 3-1. Starting lineup was DH Stephen Kwan. That's a new one. First base, Carlos Santana; third base, Jose Ramirez; center field, Lane Thomas; catcher, Bo Naylor; shortstop, Brian Rocchio; right field, Kenzie Noel; second base, Angel Martinez; and left field, Jonathan Rodriguez. That one surprised me. But hey, anybody they can get to cover left field so that Stephen Kwan can have a couple of days off here and there, I'm all for it. Saturday, they played the Chicago Cubs, losing 7-4. Starting lineup was third base, Daniel Schneemann; second base, Tyler Freeman; first base, Kyle Manzardo; shortstop, Gabriel Arias; right field, Will Brennan; catcher, Austin Hedges; DH, Kenzie Noel; left field, once again, Jonathan Rodriguez; center field, Angel Martinez; and starting pitcher, Joey Cantillo. And like I said, not doing well, that Joey Cantillo. This game was even worse than the first one. So we'll see if he can work it out as the spring progresses, but not looking positive for Joey making this rotation. Next up for the Guardians this afternoon, they will be taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. Once again, Monday, the Seattle Mariners. Tuesday, the Anaheim Angels. Thursday, Arizona Diamondbacks. Friday, Sacramento A's. And Saturday, the San Diego Padres. So we'll see. we'll see how things start shaping up. I expect as we get further into the month of March, we'll start to see some more stable lineups. So that'll give us a little better idea of who they intend to start at first base and second base, and if Brian Rocchio will continue as the main shortstop. But for now, they've been trying out some things. So we'll see. I think right field, second base, and shortstop are up for grabs for the most part. First base, I think, is pretty solid with Kyle Manzardo and Carlos Santana taking turns and possibly an occasional John Kenzie Noel in there. Um, I expect that Kyle Manzardo and Carlos Santana will be switching off between first base and DH a good portion of the season, but it's possible that they'll, give one of them a day off here or there and have somebody else be the DH. But um, like I said, John Kenzie Noel can also play first base. Gabriel Arias can play first base. Uh, and I think they have a couple other guys on the that are in camp right now that on minor league contracts with major league invites who can also play first base. So I'm not too worried about first base. I'm a little more concerned about what they're going to do at second base since they let my favorite guy go, Andres Jimenez. I'm still sad about that. But it's looking like it might be Tyler Freeman based on how the lineups have been playing out. Tyler Freeman was mainly center field last year before the Guardians signed or traded for Lane Thomas, but Lane Thomas is pretty solidified at center field right now. Of course, Tyler Freeman or Angel Martinez or somebody else may get will likely get a shot here and there to give Lane a couple of days off when needed. But for the most part, Lane will be the main starter in center field. So I would not be surprised if Tyler Freeman was the opening day second baseman, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it was Angel Martinez or Juan Brito. So we'll see what general manager Stephen Vogt thinks as we get further into the spring. But those are the guys I would be looking at. And then for shortstop, I think it's mainly between Gabriel Arias, Brian Rocchio, and Daniel Schneemann for the most part. So it'll most likely be Rocchio, but we'll see. We shall see. Now for some college baseball and softball. Not a whole lot going on there. Their season's just getting underway, but Ohio State's Caitlin Farley was named Big Ten Player of the Week. She hit 667 with 3 home runs and 6 RBIs. Then we have Cleveland State also having a player of the week. Cleveland State softball's Peyton Mueller-Stens was named Horizon League softball player of the week after hitting 500 in the Scotsman Invitational. And then we have Ashland coming up once again. Ashland baseball is currently ranked 21 in the nation. So congratulations to the Eagles. Hopefully they can stay in the rankings. And then OU, Ohio University, softball's Anna Wise was named MAC Pitcher of the Week. So Big congratulations out to Caitlin Farley, Peyton Mueller Stens, and Anna Wise, and of course, Ashland Baseball. That is going to wrap up the first segment of the show. I'm going to take a short break, and when I come back, we will talk some hockey and maybe some volleyball. We'll see. I might say volleyball for the last segment. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, but we'll definitely talk some hockey because we also have some college hockey to talk about as the college hockey tournaments get underway. So stay right here with me, Jenn B, watching the show of the land right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And I'll be right back after this.
Hey, sports fans. Are you in the market for Florida sports or just keeping up with the latest in the panhandle? Palm Tree Sports is a dedicated audio hub to all things sports in the Sunshine State. We cover current events, big news, heavily favored opinions all across the NFL, NBA, MLB, and so much more. So come check us out every Saturday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a down south education on Florida sports and athletics. It's hosted by yours truly, Corey Pujols, and is powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hockey fans, I'm Adam Kernick.
And I'm Zach Puplis.
Together, we are the newest version of Hockey Talk on IE Sports Radio, The Neutral Zone.
Zone.
We love hockey, but we also know it's not everyone's first sport. So we want to make this show as much for new fans as for the diehards.
Whether you can name all the Swedes on the '08 Red Wings Stanley Cup team, or if you can't tell if Varlamov is a goalie or the latest trendy vodka, we're here to help. With facts, figures, and outrageous fans, we bring you all the hard-hitting hockey news you can handle, while still keeping it fun and on the rails. Well, mostly.
So tune in every week as we go around the hockey world, from college to Canada, the minors and the majors, and everywhere in between.
So bring your cellies,
And your one-timers,
you wicked wristas.
and be sure to protect your five-hole.
Catch the Neutral Zone every week on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
We promise not to pick on the Arizona Coyotes every episode.
Welcome back to the show of the land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Be sure to check out Palm Tree Sports with Corey Pujols this evening and the Neutral Zone on Tuesdays with Adam and Zach. Now, for some hockey, the Columbus Blue Jackets are in sole possession of the wild card one spot at 68 points. And guess who hasn't lost since the Four Nations break? That's right. The Columbus Blue Jackets. Tuesday, they played the Dallas Stars, winning 6-4. Kirill Marchenko recorded 2 goals. Matthew Olivier had a goal. Ivan Provorov had a goal. James Van Riemsdyk had a goal. And Adam Fantilli finished things off with an empty netter. So nice to win. Thursday, the Blue Jackets played the Detroit Red Wings in Detroit, winning 5-2. James Van Riemsdyk had 2 goals. Sean Corelli scored a goal. Kent Johnson scored a goal. And Kirill Marchenko finished things off with an empty netter. Kent Johnson recorded his 100th NHL point during that game. And unfortunately, Cole Sillinger left with an upper body injury. Yesterday, the Blue Jackets again played the Detroit Red Wings. This time in the Stadium Series at Ohio Stadium, aka the Shoe. It was a beautiful showing. There were so many tributes to Johnny Gaudreau throughout the game. The Blue Jackets entered the stadium wearing the typical outfit that Johnny Gaudreau would wear for his entrances. And the Detroit Red Wings all wore different Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau hockey sweaters. Some of them from Team USA when Johnny played for Team USA, some of their college jerseys, and so on and so forth. It was a great tribute. Meredith Gaudreau and her children, Noah and Johnny Jr., as well as others from the Gaudreau family, led the Blue Jackets out onto the ice during the game. Gaudreau number 13 banner was passed through the crowd. And for a good portion of the game, the Blue Jackets were stuck at 13 shots on goal. And the score was Detroit 1, Columbus 3. How crazy is that? 13 was just everywhere. But the Blue Jackets ended up winning 5-3. Denton Matejchuk had the first goal, so he made Columbus Blue Jackets history, recording the first Columbus Blue Jackets goal in an outdoor game. Dmitry Voronkov had a power play goal. Mathieu Olivier had a goal. Justin Danforth had a goal. And Adam Fantilli finished things off with an empty netter once again for the second time this week. Next up for the Columbus Blue Jackets, Tuesday they will play the Tampa Bay Lightning, and Thursday the Florida Panthers. So hopefully they can keep the winning going. Now for a hockey team not so winning, let's talk about the Cleveland Monsters. Sunday, they lost to the Belleville Senators 2-1 in a shootout. Trey Fix-Wolansky recorded the only goal. Monday, they again lost to the Belleville Senators 2-1 in overtime. Dylan Grambel scored the only goal. And Friday, I did not put down the score, but I'm pretty sure it was 2-1. Friday, they played the Charlotte Checkers and they won in a shootout 2-1. Roman Akan had a shorthanded goal during regular time, and Cameron Butler scored the shootout winner. Jet Greaves had 44 saves in that game and was later named the AHL First Star of the Day for Friday. Yesterday, the Monsters signed a defenseman Harrison Reese to a PTO. And then last night, the Monsters again played the Charlotte Checkers. Unfortunately, this time they lost 4-1. And I'm going to be honest, I was paying attention to the posts about this game because, of course, I was watching the Blue Jackets play and listening to the crew play on my headphones. So I didn't have any more devices available for the Monsters, but I was watching the posts. This game was tied at 1-1 for the longest time. Apparently, the Checkers scored 3 goals in a very short amount of time in the third period because it was 1-1 until about at least halfway through the third period. But The lone goal was scored by Rocco Grimaldi on a power play. These monsters. They're just not the same team they were last year. Next up for the Monsters, Wednesday they will play the Toronto Marlies, and then Friday and Saturday the Hershey Bears. So things not getting any easier for the Monsters. Now for some college hockey. We'll start with the CHMA. John Carroll, Blue Streaks are the CHMA champions, finishing the season at 27-7. They are the number 22 seed in the 2025 ACHA Men's Division 1 National Championship, and they will play number 11 Calvin on March 13th. So that is fantastic news. Then we have the OU Bobcats in the ACHA. They are headed to the ACHA Nationals in St. Louis. They are the number 3 seed and will play the winner of number 14 Mary and number 19 Pittsburgh on March 14th. So that is great news for the Bobcats. Hopefully they can continue that run. We have, and maybe, just maybe, they'll end up playing John Carroll at some point. Wouldn't that be something? Ohio State, we've got some hockey news. Men's hockey team is currently ranked number 8 in the rankings. Ohio State women's hockey's Myra Jungaker, I'm going with that, was named WCHA Rookie of the Week. The Lady Buckeyes are in the WHCA tournament currently. This past week, they swept St. Thomas 5-1 and 4-1, and they will play in the final face-off this coming weekend, Friday and Saturday, against team to be determined. So we will keep an eye on that and talk about that, of course, more next week. Then we have one more hockey group to talk about, the CCHA, and the Bowling Green Falcons have clinched a CCHA playoff berth and will play Michigan Tech in a best of 3 that starts on Friday. That is going to wrap up the hockey of it all. So I am going to take another short break, and when I get back, we will wrap things up with the Columbus Fury, the Cleveland Browns, the Columbus Crew, and the Cleveland Crunch. Stay right here with me, Jenn B, on the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, and I will be right back after these messages.
How we doing, sports fans? This is Christian Harvey, your host of Gritsville, USA, your go-to show for all things Detroit and Michigan here on IE Sports Radio. Whether you're here for Gritty Lions talk, getting pumped up for the great Detroit sports renaissance, or hating on your neighbor depending on if they were green or blue, we got you covered. Whether you're in the East, West, or Central, we got you covered. Join me as we tackle through all that the great state of Michigan has to offer in the world of sports. Catch me, Christian Harvey, each week on Gritsville, USA, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's happening, sports fans? Are you a fan of Southern California sports? Are you looking for a show hotter than a hot summer day in California? Then look no further than the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, where I talk about all things Southern California sports. That's right, all sports teams from Southern California. From the hard-hitting tackles of the NFL, to the killer crossovers and big three-pointers of the NBA and WNBA, to the grand slams of the MLB, to the bone-chilling goals of the NHL, and to the booming kicks of the MLS. The SoCal Supreme Sports Show has it all for you. Oh, and let us not forget about the college sports as well. So join me, Taryn Rodriguez, every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back to the Show of the Land with a Jenn B on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all of that is sports. Be sure to check out Gritsville, USA with Christian Harvey and the SoCal Supreme Sports Show with Taryn Rodriguez for your Michigan and Southern California sports needs. Let's talk some volleyball. And we only have a half wah for the Fury this week. They started things out well. Sunday, they played the Atlanta Vibe and won 3-0 in a set sweep. Their first sweep of the season. They won set 1 25-19, set 2 25-20, and set 3 25-23. Isabella Rapash was named PBF Player of the Week with a .389 hitting percentage against Atlanta and 19 kills against Vegas, with a total of 46 total kills and 53 points. So congratulations to Isabella for that achievement. Last night, the Fury played the San Diego Mojo, who they cannot seem to beat ever. Like literally ever. They have never beat them. They lost 1-3, winning set 1 25-20, losing sets 2, 3, and 4 16-25, 15-25, and 22-25. Just when I thought things were on the upswing with them. Anywho, next up for the Fury, Wednesday, they will take on the Omaha Supernovas. They only have one match this week, so maybe they can get things back on track there. A little bit of Browns news happened this week as teams start working to get under the salary cap and all that fun stuff before the league year opens here in a couple of weeks. The Browns released safety Juan Thornhill with a June 1st designation, saving $3.4 million on this year's salary cap. They also released a long snapper Charlie Hewlett, which makes me very sad. But I also understand to an extent. He was injured most of the season, and they did have to sign a second long snapper because of that. And sounds like they are giving that long snapper, Rex Sunhara, a shot at playing the entire season as the Browns long snapper. The Browns also signed cornerback Anthony Kendall. He was an undrafted free agent out of Baldwin Wallace in 2023 and originally signed with the Tennessee Titans. Per Andrew Berry in his combine press conference, Nick Chubb is expected to hit the free agent market. From what I'm hearing, this does not mean that Nick Chubb is gone. It sounds like what they're doing is allowing him to hit the free agent market to kind of test his market value so that they give him a fair deal when re-signing him. Nothing has changed on the Myles Garrett stance. Per Andrew Barry, they have no interest in trading him. Andrew Barry also said that he can't say yet if JOK will be able to play this season, but he is making progress. And if you recall, JOK sustained a neck injury that resulted in hospitalization earlier in or during the season, around mid-season. I don't recall exactly which game it was. I want to say one of the Ravens games, but I'm not positive on that, so don't quote me on that. Per Mary Kay Cabot, Brown's beat reporter for the Cleveland, I was going to say the Cleveland Plain Dealer, but I guess it is technically the Cleveland Plain Dealer, but Cleveland.com. Myles Garrett's agent has shut the door on any extension negotiations, stating Garrett is done with the Browns. But looking further into this, it sounds like what is likely to happen is they will tear up his current contract completely and sign an all-new contract, likely with a no-trade clause included, so that Myles actually has some say in where he goes when a trade should occur. So we will keep an eye on that, but it is what it is. We will see, but I'm just so tired of it all, honestly. I would just like one off season with no freaking drama. And just on a lighter note, right before I went live, I got this notification, breaking news. The Browns are likely done with Deshaun Watson has likely played his last snap as a Cleveland Brown. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Like, where have you been for the last 6 months? Everybody knows that. Ugh, people. ESPN is crazy. I'm telling you what. I don't know what they're breaking news. That's not breaking news. Columbus Crew have started the season 2-0. Diego Rossi was named to the team of the match day 1 starting 11. Last night, the Crew took on the New England Revolution and won 1-0. Jason Russell Rowe recorded the lone goal at the 51st minute and was named the man of the match. So congratulations to Jason Russell Rowe. That is 2 goals in 2 games. So he is stepping up in the absence of Cucho Hernandez and Christian Ramirez. So that is nice to see. Next up for the Columbus Crew, Tuesday, they will take on LAFC in the round of 16 CONCACAF Champions Cup series. That will be leg 1. Leg 2 will be the following week. So we will talk about that next Sunday. And then Saturday, in regular MLS play, they will play the Houston Dynamo. Now for that other soccer team here in the lovely state of Ohio, the Cleveland Crunch. Last night, the Cleveland Crunch took on Fort Wayne Summit City, winning 23-11. Admir Suljovic, in his first game back with the team after injury, had a first-half hat trick. He was also named the man of the match, recording 5 total goals and 2 assists for 7 points. The Crunch do not play again until March 15th. So we'll talk a little bit more about them in 2 weeks. But they continue with their first place winning ways, and they are solidly in first place in MLIS, and I expect that will continue. But that is going to wrap things up for today's show. Thank you, one and all, for joining me, Jenn B, on the Show of the Land right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Today, be sure to check out IndyCar, NASCAR. The Cavs play at 3:30 this afternoon. Let me see. Is there anything else going on today? The Guardians play at 3:05. If you have MLB TV or Guardians TV, whatever the heck they're calling it nowadays, you can catch that. Possibly catch it on the radio. If not, and like I said, the Cavs going for win number 50 at 3:30 this afternoon. So catch them. And before the Cavs, you can catch IndyCar. And during and after the Cavs, NASCAR should be going on. So check those out. And I will see you all tomorrow on the Extra Mile. And then for the Show of the Land, I will catch you all next Sunday. Next Sunday, I will be back at my normal time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But until then, have a fantastic week. Go Cavs.